How's it going, Critter Family? Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over a video by Garrett Wing of American Standard Dog Training. This is my third try going over this video. It keeps getting really glitchy in the video, so hopefully, this is going to be my last try, and hopefully it'll work out okay. If not, then hopefully you can bear with me. It's just my computer. I'm trying my very best here. But in other news, I said that I was going to be doing a video on a dog named Newt, or I didn't say his name was Newt, but I was going to be doing a video on a dog that is reactive, and my camera was not recording during that session. So unfortunately, we don't have that footage of me working with a dog named Newt. But what would have happened was you would have just seen a bunch of me standing around, him sitting around or standing around, and getting rewarded for not reacting to other dogs. So that's what would have happened. It would have been a very boring video. But anywho, hopefully if I have another lesson with him, then I will be able to get some more footage of him. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, we are looking at Garrett Wing, teaching a dog recall. Teach your dog come to you every time. Perfect recall training. So in the beginning of this video, he talks a big game. He talks a good game where he talks all this positive stuff, and then he moves into the prong collar, the shock collar to make the dog reliable, when all you need is to just use the first half of this video. So anyway, we're going to get into it right away, see what he has to say, and I'll just give my advice. No more talking, no more blabbing. A lot of people want me to just play the video, but that's what fair use is talking over the video. And also I'm here to give my advice that nobody in particular asked for, but some people like to hear it. So anyway, I'm trying to tell you that this is not the only way to train your dog reliably.
When a dog is in prey drive, getting them to recall, forget it. Thor, here!
So the fact that he practices this for a good before and after, not fair to the chicken, not fair to the dog. It shows a failure on behalf of the trainer, because the trainer is trying to get it before and after, allowing the dog to practice this behavior, chasing the chicken for a good video.
Scenario where if that chicken ran out into the street, he'd be chasing after that chicken. You're not getting your dog back.
Again, he's showing, that, in order to have your dog reliable, your dog can run out into the street and get killed, and it's the most dangerous thing in the world, then, okay, well, you should have your dog, in a fenced-in area. You shouldn't have your dog around chickens like that anyway, until you've taught them a good, reliable recall, or you've taught them to leave it, to not go after prey drive. I know Happy Hounds Dog Training has a great tutorial on how to leave your dog, how to teach your dog leave it to ignore their instinctive prey drive.
This unless you have a proper recall. When we're all said and done, he will recall off of a chicken, a cat, squirrel, it doesn't matter, he's gonna recall. All right, one of the first steps to start charging up your dog's recall is, first things first, you gotta get them away from you. How do we do that? Piece of food, touch the nose, say free. They're gonna go eat that food. After they eat that food, go, Thor, here! On the way back, we mark with a clicker or a voice saying yes. We walk backwards, they drive into us, and we give them 4, 5, or 6 pieces. 1 piece on the way out, 4, 5, 6 pieces, Thor, here, on the return.
So this is perfect. This is great. This is all you need to do. This is all you need to practice. You don't need prong collars or shock collars or any kind of choke chain or a long line to correct your dog on, or punish your dog. You don't need any of that. All you need is just to practice this. So he has good advice in the beginning of this video, and then he goes down. It all goes downhill at the second half of the video.
Getting back to you always pays the big bucks. Now, why would they come back to you? Well, if your dog's hungry and they're only getting 1 piece, they know where they got to go for the good stuff.
I would also be using high-value rewards, such as dehydrated beef liver. I wouldn't just be using my dog's kibble, especially not for the recall. For the recall, I want to make sure that my dog sees it as a very high-value reward. Can you use kibble? Sure, if your dog is hungry, but there's a difference that your dog sees in motivation between regular kibble and treat rewards. And if you're only going to be doing this for a short period of time, as he's going to suggest, then there's nothing wrong with using high value rewards for your dog versus just regular boring old kibble.
Guess who's got it? This guy right here. Thor, here. We start to charge that name up. That name means get to me. I have amazing things for you. Now, remember, do this in a safe environment. Do this in an enclosed backyard. Maybe have a long line on your dog. And don't overdo this, folks. Don't do this for 30 minutes and gas your dog out. Make it short, fun, exciting. Fire session. 30 seconds, maybe up to 2 or 3 minutes, and then call it done. Do that over the next few days, a couple of fire sessions, and we'll start to condition your dog that when they hear their name, come running back to mom or dad. All right, folks, before we dive any deeper.
Now, he has 3 dogs that look hot, that look like they need water. They have spatulate tongues. They've been running around. They're tired or they're stressed. They all have shot collars on. He's got 3 shot collar emotes on him. So that's how he trains. A reliable recall, which means that he doesn't take the time, as he's going to say here, you need to put the time into this to make it reliable. This is how he relies on it, is a shot collar, which means your dog isn't reliable. If you have to rely on a shot collar on your dog to recall them, your dog is not reliable at recall. Your dog is relying on a correction, on punishment to teach them to come back when you call them.
Into this video, I have to give you a word of caution. Please don't think you can watch a 10-minute YouTube video and master the recall overnight. That's not how it works. It requires many reps, many sessions over many days and weeks to achieve that 100% reliable off-leash recall.
I can agree with that. He's going to be talking about how, you should use his canine school, whatever, his canine program. I don't agree with that because and now we have a prong collar and a shot collar on. You don't need either of those. Any of these punitive tools. He doesn't tell you now that he has a prong collar on the dog and a shot collar on the dog because the dog has already been trained with that kind of nonsense. I'm going to call it nonsense type of training, those nonsense type of tools. He's been trained already with that. I don't know why he has that on him now. Maybe it's just, the dog now has the threat of correction in multiple different ways. If you need two different tools, 3 different collars on your dog, then you are not as good of a trainer as you think you are. You are not reliable. You're not teaching your dog to be reliable because you are going to rely on those tools to keep your dog, from blowing you off. And really, when your dog is blowing you off, it's not they're blowing you off to say F you, as much as this guy would probably take it personal. Your dog is saying, look at those whale eyes. Stress tongue. Kind of. The long lips, wrinkles, ears are back. Anyway, the dog is not blowing you off to say F you. The dog is saying there's something else that is just better. The only way I come back to you is with correction, with shot collar, with prong collar corrections, with all of this nonsense. So why would I come back to you when all I'm going to get is punished?
They hear their name called. Let me demonstrate what it looks like. Aria, when you're ready, go ahead. Thor, here. And you can see he literally gets airborne, shooting out of the hole to go towards the person that's calling him. I'll demonstrate it one more time and kind of walk and talk you through the process. Thor, here. Get him into this heel position, and we're going to treat him like a slingshot. I'm going to pull back right after she calls him.
I've seen a couple of people do this. I don't know that I would do this where you're going to pull back. Creating the opposition reflex where you pull back on a dog is going to make them pull forward when you do that. I don't know that that's necessary. I don't think that's necessary to teach the recall. I'm not going to say that that's going to harm anything, but I just don't know that I would
only going to release
that
when he drives forward with everything he has. Thor, there we go, and he shoots out of the hole, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're going to condition that when you hear your name called, you got to haul ass and drive to the person that's calling you. One of the best recall games you can play with your dog or puppy is what we call the triangle of death. Let me show you how it works.
Or you could also call it puppy ping pong, where your dog just goes bouncing off of everybody else in the room or in the yard. You can start in a triangle. You can go back and forth between each other. The more people you have, the better it is to teach your dog, to listen to their name and not just be, predictive programming, to where they think, okay, I go over here and then I go back over here and I go over here and I go back over here. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that. If a dog comes back to me, I'm still going to reward them, even if I didn't call them, because I want them to know to come to humans or to see humans is a good thing. If I really want to teach them their name, then, I can, if I can also withhold reward. That's a form of correction for not calling the dog. But for me, if a dog comes back to me automatically, I'm just going to reward them for hanging out with their human.
Works. Thor, here. Now, typically, if you're recalling your dog, you're using 2 people. What happens is after he eats food from her, he'll typically come back to me. But now we bring in a 3rd person. He actually has to listen and pay attention to who's calling. So allow me to demonstrate. Thor, here. Rather than just running straight to her and back to me, we can now bring a 3rd, 4th, or 5th option. We'll pay there, and then another interesting thing with this game is he might start going towards her or towards me. Call him. Thor, here. We get him
Very
to change
good.
direction.
So again, this is all
halfway
you
through.
need. You don't need the prong collar and the shock collar. You don't need any of that kind
Payment
of
for that,
training
which
to
helps.
make your dog reliable. You just need a good strong leave it. You can use a leash on a harness to teach your dog to, leave prey items alone, or prey animals alone, or toys alone, where you can, withhold them on their harness, or hold them back like he held back earlier with the recall. You can hold them back and then teach them, a good recall at a distance, and then get closer and closer to whatever the item is. So say she were holding him here, and say Garrett were a prey animal. If she's at a distance like this where she can call the dog back, if she walks backwards and she calls the dog back to her, then that's perfect. If you need to get a little bit further away, or you need to have like a fence or something in between you, then you can have the prey animal over here. Sorry, my camera just reset. But you can have the animal over here on the other side of the fence, and you can have your dog over here, and just get as far away as you need to until you can get your dog to reliably recall back to you, and slowly work your way closer and closer to that animal or to the trigger.
Condition him that you might be heading north, but I might recall you back south. Teaches him to turn around and go back to the person who's calling him. Good job, baby doll. All right, folks, now we're going to move on and show you how we use the leash and the e-collar to start to bring about reliability in the recall. Say, what are you talking about? Well, just think about it for a minute. What power, what weight does your voice really have if, in this case, an 80-plus pound Rottweiler is chasing after a ball, a bird, or whatever? Will your voice really stop physically all of that momentum and make it turn?
It should, if you do it right. If you have your dog on a harness and you want to stop them, you would slowly stop them with a leash. And after they're, or teach them a good leave it, or teach them that they don't go for a ball unless you give them a release word to go get it, and then you can call them back. I mean, there's so many trainers out there that can show you this kind of work, that they don't ever have to have a shock collar on their dog, or a prong collar on the dog, or a combination of the two.
Around and come back to you. No, not right off the bat, it won't. Even if you do all the work that leads up to this point. But let me ask you this instead. What if we took a leash, we hooked it up to a collar, in this case just a flat collar, and should the dog be out chasing something, would you be able to use the leash to reel him in with 100% reliability? Yes, I hope so. That's what the leash was invented for. So if the leash has the ability to have 100% reliable...
The leash was not made to drag your dog back to you.
Ability to reel your dog in or physically make them recall, then the e-collar is just a digital version of the same thing.
No, it's a shock collar. It's not an e-collar. It's not a digital version. It is shocking your dog and correcting your dog and punishing your dog. If it works correctly, then your dog is being punished by this, by not coming back to you when called, or just automatically. That is all they're getting is just correction when you call them back, because you're not going to give them the option to come back or not. You're going to be using that shock collar the second you call their name, and you might hold it, not necessarily you're going to hold it, but like we're going to see what he's going to do here now. I haven't seen this part of the video, but he might be holding it the entire time until the dog gets back to him. So let's see what he does.
And only if it's properly conditioned. So let's go ahead and talk about using this leash, how you might do it. We're going to throw the food out while he's out there eating. We're just going to have a little tap as soon as he's finished eating, which means come back to me.
How about you use his name? How about you use the recall? What was all this other practicing for? Why would you rely on the leash and not even call his name back? That was just stupid. That was entirely pointless. Sorry, I'll try to not rock in the chair back and forth. It's just a habit.
Get paid. So we're just introducing that the leash pop.
So again, this flat buckle collar is going to turn into a prong collar pretty soon, because that's not going to stop him when he's chasing a chicken. But really, you don't need then the dog is going to be reliable. I'm confused now. Just like the dog would be confused, because now the dog is not relying on your voice, which you just talked about, an empowered voice. Now the dog is going to be relying on the leash pop. So you're not even giving the dog, just call the dog back to you. The dog would have come back. That's what your whole practice was for. Now I'm just confused as to why he's not using the verbal and he's relying on the leash pop. It's because he's a failure of a trainer.
Not in trouble. It's just a little pop on the leash that says,
but the dog doesn't know they're not in trouble. It's still a correction. If it works for the dog may not find it punishing, but it's a correction to stop the dog from doing what they're doing. Then just use the
me.
dog's
Now,
voice.
Once that's looking clean, then you just hair that with your voice. What does that look like? Free? Thor, here, pop. Yes, so now my voice is starting to take on the power of the leash. This is gonna be a true recall. I'm gonna throw the food a little further and I'm gonna shorten the leash by a little bit. I'm gonna recall him with my voice. Should he choose not to listen to me, he has no choice but to listen to me because the leash is gonna back up my voice. Free, Thor, here. You see
Ouch.
how it worked? He heard what I said, didn't quite have a lot of time to process it, but he was still going for the food. But the leash backed up my voice, and now he's learning, when Garrett calls
Stress
me...
tongue. Stress tongue. Really far back lips, wrinkled, ears are back, stressed dog, squinty eyes.
If I don't recall, I won't be able to get the food anyways. I won't be able to get the duck, bird, cat, squirrel anyways because his voice is backed up by the power of the leash. Pretty cool trick. Now, once that's
It's just conditioning. It's just voice followed by correction equals pain. Eventually pain. Or stopping me from getting to where I want. You know, eventually, I mean, that has to be painful enough to stop the dog so that the dog comes back when they clothesline themselves at the end of the leash. And eventually that is going to turn into a prong collar.
mastered, you can then use the leash and everything we've built up to this point and basically layer in the e-collar. Now, this is a very advanced concept, too advanced for us to teach in this short video. If you want to find out more of how we do that to the highest degree possible to have your dog have the utmost reliability in an off-leash recall, I highly, highly recommend you check out our
Okay, that's just a bunch of nonsense.
Ultimately, all of these tools combined, all of these exercises.
You don't need all of these tools. You don't need everything in the toolbox. I'm so tired of people being so focused on that, so controlling, so confusing to the general public. You don't need any of this. Yes, have a leash on your dog. Have it on a harness. Absolutely. Have it on your dog. And instead of tossing the treat so far away that your dog wants to go get it, you can practice having instead of a treat, I would toss a piece of kibble and the dog goes for the kibble, but they come back for the treat. So I would have a higher value reward that the dog is coming back to versus tossing the kibble out for the dog to go for, because the dog is not going to be as excited about the kibble. Now you can do that. Call your dog. Your dog is going to go get the kibble, come back for the reward. Over time, you can teach them leave it when you toss it, or you can fake out tossing the treat. So they go for it. You call them back. They come back. They don't have anything to be looking for. That's what I would practice first, is I would fake out tossing a treat, or just hands just like this, You know, nothing in my hand. Show the dog there's nothing in my hand. Toss it. The dog goes for it. Call them back. It takes them a second to register that. Then because they're looking for whatever it is that I tossed, they come back. They get a reward. There's no punishment required. Then I do it again. They go back, or they may not go that time, and then I can, toss a regular piece of kibble for them. And they go for the kibble, or they go for the kibble and they get the kibble and they come back. And eventually they're going to say, oh, okay, when I get something better over here with my owner or with the trainer or with whomever I'm working with, really, realistically, it would be the owner that would be doing this. Then they learn that, oh, okay, I'm not going to go for the kibble or I'm going to come back quicker that time because I get something better than just kibble. When I come back to my owner, I get 5 or 6 pieces, little tiny pieces of treat versus 1 piece of kibble over here. Or I'm able to leave the kibble alone. So if I would toss it far enough away. They start going, instead of just the recall, I would say leave it and then recall them. So leave it is like a stop sign. They stop going for it, then they come back. Or you can just, again, fake out the toss, or take a toy or something, toss it. They run. You slowly stop them at the harness, before they get to it. They're staring at it. Then you recall them, and the quicker they come back, the quicker they get their reward. That's just how I would do it.
Is combined build you up to have an empowered voice, a voice that's backed up by all of these tools, all of these techniques, and gives you a 100% off-leash reliable dog. Stick around for the end, because now we're going to show you in really proof. We have to see, has all of this work built up to a point that we can truly trust him off-leash in what we can...
No, the only thing you're relying on is the shock collar. That's all it is. That's all you're doing off
Consider
leash.
the highest level of distraction. We call it a D10 level distraction. For your dog, it could be food, it could be a cat, bird, squirrel, car, you name it. In his case, it's another dog. And now we want to really see if I can recall him off the highest level of distraction using my voice and my voice alone. All right, now for
But
the
your
ultimate.
voice is powered, is with all these dogs, your voice is now backed up by the shock collar. That's why he has these shock collars on all of these dogs. Otherwise, then he wouldn't need that. If it was just about the collar and the leash, he's not telling you that it's because of the shock collar.
Test, Thor is now fully trained and has a recall. Have the e-collar.
But he's reliable on the shock collar.
That recall, just
Stress
in case
tongue
we
for
need
all
it.
of
That's
these
what it's there
dogs.
for. Let's show you what it looks like. Yes. Thor here.
He's already tired, and we don't see on the on the camera whether he's using his collar or not. We don't see that. I'm not saying the guy necessarily is. He may or may not be using it, but I would rather see him on camera to know for sure that he's not using his shock collar remote.
Good boy. This
Okay,
is exactly
so it looks like he wasn't, at least in this moment. He could have said Thor here and then put his hand down. I don't know. I don't trust it unless I see it.
what we want, and we'll do it one more time. He's in the middle of playing. This is the most difficult thing I would say for him to do and stop doing is playing.
These guys have been playing
Thor,
around.
Here.
Okay, good.
Come on, lazy bones. Good job. And if he's a little short on coming back, that's where we could use e-collar, but he's making his way back. Thor, here. Good job, buddy. Exactly what we needed. Now that's what's going to give him
So
that.
you're reliable on the shock collar. That's all it is. That's all he's doing, which is what I thought he was going to do in the first place. All that other bullshit before, I mean, I don't think it's BS. I think he's talking a bunch of BS because he just totally, he teaches you that this is, this is how you start. You start off nice and then you just rely on the shock collar. I don't think it's BS. I think that's all you need to do is practice that in the beginning of what he told you, what he taught you, what he showed you. But he doesn't rely on that. He doesn't continue with that. He relies on the shock collar in the end. So it's just all baloney. That's how he trains. That's how he teaches. Is he might start off really nice and then he uses the shock collar. That's it. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Go say hi to your little critters. Say hi to for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate it. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.